Hello, I'm Matthew Armstrong, and this is How to Art with Matthew Art. Today, we're gonna draw Baby Yoda! Baby Yoda, baby Yoda, baby Yoda, baby Yoda! Man, that really messes with the light. Baby Yoda is a simple, easy one to start with. But the principles that I'm going to show you here can be applied to much more complicated characters and designs. Like all these guys on the screens now. They can all be broken down into easy to draw basic shapes, and then you can pretty much draw anything. It's all just circles, triangles, squares, cylinders. Put them all together, and you can draw anything you want. Now I'm going to show you some principles and techniques. Once you master these powers, it will give you limitless abilities some consider to be so super awesome. Proportion, appeal, shape language. These are the weapons you must use to become a true cartoonist. Here he is, GROGU, aka Baby Yoda. Let's break down this design into his most basic shapes. There's only 5 shapes to worry about. Circle, triangle, triangle, trapezoid, and a square, mostly. And that's that for shapes. The eyes are circles and the hands are sporks. You know, it's like a fork and a spoon. Moving on to proportions. Character proportions are generally measured by the head. Baby Yoda is 2 heads tall. 2 heads tall is the proportions you want to give a character when you want him to look cute and little, like Baby Yoda.
Yoda, you will try. Yes.
Ready? Draw. Let's start with the head. You don't have to draw the entire circle at once. You can just break it up into smaller curves until you get a complete circle. You can tell here I'm just cleaning up the circle. I'm adding a little bit more to the bottom, making that line thicker to give it the illusion of shadow. Divide the head in half, and then divide the head in half again, and that's going to tell you exactly where to place the eyes. Placing the eyes in the bottom half is going to give it the appearance of cute. It's going to give it a lot of appeal. If you look at like a baby's face, you'll notice that the eyes are actually well below halfway of the head. And so because it works in nature, it works in art, and all of a sudden you put the eyes halfway below the head and instantly it's cuter. And looking so cute and adorable is how they make us put up with their crap. Sometimes literally. Starting in on the ears, there's a real advantage to having underdrawing that blue line that you see there. Because when you have a blue line there and then you're able to just go to final line, you're able just to focus all your attention on the mood and you're expressing yourself with line width, thick and thin, maybe a little bit scumbly, a little bit scribbly, but you can put so much emotion and expression into that final line work. And it's nice not to have to be worrying about the form or the basic shapes. You can just just let yourself focus on the expressionism of the line. Now we're adding the final touches. The feet and hands are basically sporks. It's a great shape for feet and hands. It's amazing to me that just 1 or 2 squiggly lines can make his shirt look like a baggy kind of knapsack that he's wearing. It's one of those fun tricks of art. Let's shade in GROGU's eyes here. We'll leave some highlights there at the top. If you look at GROGU's face, I mean, he's basically just all eyes. The whole face is just huge, adorable, dark eyes with beautiful highlights. And now we finally get to erase all the find out lines. Sort of like covering our tracks. Just going in there and erasing and cleaning up any lines that sort of don't help the illusion of life. The big ones, the horizontal and vertical lines on the face. As soon as you erase those, I mean, it really starts coming to life. Erasing around the ears and the contact points, where the ears would sort of hook into the main head. Darkening in the contour lines of the eyes to make them kind of stand forward. Also making sure that one eye is just the same size as the other. Even in perspective, they should be about the same size. Whenever I add little squiggles, sometimes called cross-hatching, but I just think about which direction the light's coming in, and then I kind of squiggle towards that imaginary light that I just imagined. And now for the finishing touches. Time to finalize the drawing with little cross hatches and little improvements here and there to the line work. In general, just thinking about giving the object the illusion of light and form. I imagine the light coming down from the top, and I imagine the shadows gathering from underneath, and that tells me where to darken the lines underneath, where to add little places where the shadow gathers, like there in the ears. And I just move around the drawing, just adding little bits, little dark accents here and there, maybe erasing where it feels appropriate. You can thicken lines up to make them darker. You can also erase them up to demonstrate the light hitting there a little bit more. Adding little dark accents to the eyes, little dark accent cross-hatching under the ears. Little delicate moves, little delicate strokes. Baby Yoda, the drawing, or GROGU, the drawing. Now, let's move on to color. I'm using my iPad and Procreate. There's several watercolor options with Procreate or Photoshop or any program really these days. Clip Studio Paint has a great watercolor brush set. But you can use anything you want, really, even real watercolor. The principles are all the same. So here I am, I'm just adding in a base color of kind of a cool green. And that's my first wash. And then I'll go over that green with a second wash, and the two colors will start working together to bring in the whole thing to life. Just getting his little toesies there. You can undo and Procreate. I wish you could undo in life. I picked a cool green because when you see Yoda, at least in Empire Strikes Back, you know, he's surrounded by all this blue, swampy, cool light, which would reflect right off his skin and of course make him very blue. So the cool green feels a little more natural to me than maybe a warm green. Erasing out the highlights in the eyes. Can't actually erase out watercolor in real life, but that's one of the great advantages of digital. You can do anything you can really imagine. You have to give yourself restrictions. Starting the first wash on his clothes, his little knapsack. It kind of looks like a potato bag. There's actually a really good potato sack tutorial that I'd like to make a video of one day. It's an old animator test. You take a sack and you twist it and you bend it, you give it character. Even a lifeless sack can have tons of character. You can probably look it up, but one day I'll make my own. The first wash is there. Then I'm adding in the second wash to just darken things in, to add shadows. Thinking of where the light's hitting from on top. It's going to cast a shadow on the arms, cast a shadow on the collar. Just kind of dabbing. It adds texture, it adds shadow. I changed the color a little bit to a warm green. So I'm going to let the warm green mix with the cool green. The cool light's coming from on top. You can imagine the sky is all blue, and that's where all the cool light comes from. Then the ground tends to be a little warmer, and that's bouncing warm light up onto the face and the rest of the objects. So, you know, it's a little, it's not precise, but if you have cool colors on top and then warm colors from the bottom, then if it works in real life, it's going to work in your drawing and your art. Warm shadows and cool light tend to make your character look like he's outside. It always works. Unless it doesn't, in which case, yeah, it's probably okay. Just a few final things. I'm going in with some nice warm browns. There they are. Starting to paint around where the shadows gather. Underneath the collar. Around the arms, you know, as the arm curves inward, kind of let some shadows gather there. Not being too precise, you don't really need to be. Some of the brown bleeds onto the green. That's what light does. It bounces everywhere and gets onto everything. Filling in the edges. And ta-da! All done. I like to play with the iPad. You can pinch and zoom and kind of make them dance around. Doop, 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 doop. Doop, 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 doop.
Bye bye.
Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Same Matt time, same Matt channel.
Draw you will. Yes.